Hello everyone, can you hear me or not? Let me just know. Yes, we're walking on water. That's true. We are. This is very tricky, by the way, because officially the ice is not good enough yet. So, but I didn't want to miss this because it has been freezing the last several days. My kayak is moving fast, yeah, for sure. But look where I am. Look where I am right now. And how beautiful this is. A typical Dutch landscape. We're standing here on the water. Really have to be a little careful. So just show you my face. Welcome everyone. I don't know the time. Let me know if the tour is officially starting, because I decided 10 minutes ago, about 10 minutes ago, I'm still didn't find my bread because I was running back to my car because I rented a car for today to get my new ice skates. So, and I thought like, okay, because it is 2 minutes from now. Okay, welcome everyone in the Netherlands. Welcome in Windmill, Valhalla. I'm in Zaanse Schans with several windmills behind me. And the interesting thing is, I'm in the middle of the water. That's true, as you can see, because I am on my ice skates. So, this is a typical Dutch picture. Some ice skates and sunset. What do you want more? You can see I have different shoelaces. Just bought some second-hand ice skates before it can all be like, oh, I'm hearing already that the ice is still not very thick. So I have to be a little careful. There has been wind from the east. That means wind from Russia, from Siberia. It has been cold here in the last days, but here on the water, I'm literally the only one on the water. I saw why I decided to go here is because I saw some people that were ice skating. So yeah, there are beautiful reflections on the ice for sure, and not only on the ice. So I'm just gonna be little. I have to be very careful on things places like here. So whoa. Because I can still see that the ice is not very thick yet. I love the sound and everything. So welcome in the Netherlands. Welcome in Zaanse Schans. I'm ice skating between the windmills or nearby the windmills on a part where the ice is thick enough. There are only like two little yeah, and the Siberian wind can be very cold. That's always the thing. Like, ooh, I'm now hearing the ice over here. It's like so ooh, I don't know if you can hear it. It's really cracking a little. It's cracking a little. So next time when I'm going over here, I'm just going to have a little more speed. I see that people were over here already. Stay dry. Yeah, that is always a trick. So I'm just going back to my other part. Brave or foolhardy? I would say fool. A little foolish to do this, but I couldn't stop myself. So it is time. So welcome everyone in the Netherlands. Welcome in Zaanse Schans. My name is Stefan. I'm a tour guide in the Netherlands, and I'm doing tours walking, sometimes cycling, sometimes in a boat, on my kayak, and now I'm really happy. I'm on my ice skates. So, and that is really unique because that does not happen too much anymore. Even less in this part of the country. We're a little in the western part of the country, and it has been several days a little cold, but not extremely cold yet. So that means the ice is not very thick yet. So it's a little tricky what I'm doing right now. I saw some people, and even when standing over here, I'm hearing the ice a little. So I have to be careful. But just to give you an idea, so look at this windmill, some ice skates. Welcome in the Netherlands. The ice is really beautiful. So, yeah, most probably tomorrow the temperatures will go up, and then over the weekend it will be gone already. So I thought it's now or never. So hopefully we stay above the water and not under the ice. So I removed everything. So yes, for sure that means cool, really cool, because it doesn't happen too many times in this part of the Netherlands anymore that you can skate on the ice. So I'm really happy. So I'm just gonna change the screen, and then we're officially gonna start the tour. So I'm here on this little side canal. You can see me ice skating. Don't look at my technique. Oh, you can hear the ice maybe. I just have to be careful. There are some parts that are less thick. And look how beautiful the landscape is. That's where we are right now. The sunset, windmills, but also really beautiful ice. Oh, and I love this. That's been such a long time ago. Of course, I did some tours where I was going over ice rinks on Christmas markets. But this is the real thing. This is how, when I was growing up, almost every winter we had ice where we could skate, sometimes for a week, sometimes even for a month or more. And then every day when coming from school, the first thing that you were doing, getting your ice skates and make sure that you're ready to go over the water. And look at this, look how beautiful this is. And I'm the only one on the water. People are looking like, okay, this guy is crazy, because the quality of the ice is not really good yet. It's not very thick. So, and I have to, you see how beautiful it is with the sun going down. And we're over here, I said it already, at Zaanse Schans. So, just showing you a little the quality of the ice. Hopefully it will not break just at this moment, because I prefer to have a tour above the water and not under the water. So this is amazing. This is unique, and what I said already before, it will be most probably the last day that this is possible, and then you always have to wait. If there will be another moment in winter that we can be on the ice again. And Julie, exactly how deep, I don't know. It's not very deep. It's not very deep, and that's also the only reason why I'm trying this. Because if it would have been very deep, one, the ice would have been not so thick. That's first. And the second thing is also, if you go through, then you're coming under the water more. And most probably over here, it is about 3 feet only. So not that bad. But look how beautiful it is. We're standing here in the middle of Zaanse Schans, between the windmills. Several ones are even turning or sawing wood, making paint and all that kind of things. So what I'm gonna do now, this is basically just the pre-tour that I was doing. Just a little over the ice. And then we're going. So Catherine is with me. That's really, she pushed me a little, saying, yes, do it, go on the ice. It's like, okay, it is a little risky to do that, but just let's try it. But also look how beautiful the Dutch landscape is. And imagine that this is a part of an area that we're calling waterland or waterland in Dutch. So everywhere you have these little waters, you have the fields, and you can basically, if it is long, cold enough, then on all these areas. Yeah, Catherine is my backup. Yeah. In case I'm going through the water, through the ice, then she can do the rest of the tour for sure. But yeah, this is already breathtaking, isn't it? Yeah, I know it is. And this is also why I thought this is also a last minute tour, where I came over here. Uh, why I came over here is because it's such beautiful weather. It's a blue sky, beautiful sunset, as we can see already. So this does not happen too much. It's only happening when we have several days some wind from the east. So I'm now going back to get my shoes on. So my shoes are over here. warm and everything. Wait, just if you can just film me, thank you. Wow, this is so luxury. Normally, I'm always doing this on my own, but now, okay. These are my second-hand typical Dutch ice skates. We're calling them, by the way, Nordics or Noren in Dutch. So with these long, how do you call this? Blades, long blades, and they are long because then you can make a lot more speed. And it's also, if you look at what's the sport where Dutch people are the best in, that's always in speed skating, and we're doing them on these type of ice skates. So that's also how I learned it when I was a young boy. I think the first time I was on the ice when I was 3 years old. So that's one of the things in the Netherlands. If you're growing up in the Netherlands as a Dutch kid, then there are several things that they're teaching you. Of course, they're teaching you how to walk. That's like, I think, all over the world. But in the Netherlands, they also teach you how to swim because of all the water, how to ice skate in winter, and how to cycle. So, four different things as a kid. So, and I did it a lot. I really did it a lot. And I still love it when the ice is there. And the thing is, just to give you an idea, hello everyone, I'm now gonna change the screen again. You can maybe imagine that that at the moment, can I leave this here or yeah? Okay, thank you. And at the moment that in the Netherlands, when it's cold several days, then we're calling it that everyone is getting skating fever. Skating fever. So, because we're always all like, oh, we can maybe ice skate again soon, so let's go for it. So everyone is then looking like, do we still have our ice skates? When is it possible? And if it's possible, then the whole country is on the ice. So it's just now that it is very tricky still to do. So, okay. Yeah, and of course the windmills, that's why I'm here. This ice skating thing was just because I thought like that's cool to start with. But the ice, you can see it over here. People tried it over here already earlier. It's not that thick yet. Not very thick. And of course, slippery. Okay, I'm just going there to the side to get out, and then we're gonna do the official tour about Zaanse Schans because that's where I am. I have been here not that long ago. Maybe some of you have seen that. Let's see, I can also climb out over here. Whoa. Okay, I'm free. I'm free. Got my silver skate. Yeah, Hansje Brinker. That's by the way a famous story about a Dutch boy, but that story is written by someone from the US. So there's not a real Hansje Brinker. It's just a story that is a sort of a romantic version, of the Netherlands. But I'm just gonna start over here, there at that corner, and then tell you a little more about where we are, and what I want to show you today. Because it is a little impromptu, a little last minute, mainly because of the weather, and then even more because of the ice today. But where I am right now, I am in a little village that is called Zaanse Schans. Zaanse Schans is always good to try that, to practice your Dutch a little. But Zaanse Schans is nearby a river, and the river is over here. You can still see there's no ice on the river. It's not that cold. But on the river, this is the River Zaan. The River Zaan is in connection with the city of Amsterdam. We're not that far from Amsterdam, about 15 kilometers, about 10 miles away from here only. Let's just go here to the other side. So that is literally around the corner. And the Zaanse Schans over here. Hello. Uh, the Zaanse Schans is what they sometimes say the oldest industrial area in the world. So in the time that in the 17th century they started over here with this enormous industrial area full of windmills. Nowadays And thank you, Cheryl, and thank you everyone, because that's how I keep on doing these tours, by on the skates, on the on the walking, etc. By asking for tips. So really thank you for that. So and you can always watch it back. At least 24 hours. I'm keeping this tour. Maybe do it even a little longer, because this is a unique one. So no, but we have to go back to the 17th century. What happened in the 17th century is that the city of Amsterdam was growing, and more sailors and traders were starting to live in Amsterdam. So plus, what we were also starting to do, we were starting to trade with other parts of the world. And what do you need for trading with other parts of the world? You need, of course, a boat. And boats are made from wood. From wood. So, as other countries were doing that, for example, Spain, but also the French, the English, the Portuguese, of course, not to forget, they were all trying to capture the world with their ships. And also the Dutch started to trade. And we started to trade mainly with the so-called Dutch East Indies Company, the famous company that was trading with Indonesia. So getting all kind of spices and all kind of other stuff, like porcelain, from Southeast Asia, and getting it back to the Netherlands and getting it back to Europe. So, and at first we were, of course, building these ships, building these huge ships for these times. We were all doing that by hand. And then at the start of the 17th century, there was a guy who lived just outside of Amsterdam in this area. His name was Cornelis Zoon. So the son of Cornelis, that was also the son of Cornelis, named Cornelis, and he was an engineer. He was an engineer, and what did he do is he was living in this area, and there were some windmills. There were some windmills, not a lot yet, and most of these windmills were used to pump out the water. Used to pump out the water because big part of the Netherlands are under sea level. And then he thought, like, okay, maybe we can make that system, these windmills that we're using to pump out water, maybe we can improve that system. So what he did is he invented something that nowadays is quite normal, the crankshaft. And maybe there are people under you that know what the crankshaft is. If not, you can easily Google it. But for that time, that was completely new. And with the crankshaft, it made it possible to start using wind power for all kind of other things. And one of the things, he designed the crankshaft to start a windmill like the one that we see over here, the green one in front of us, to to use it to start sawing wood. Sawing wood. And you can also see this is still a wood mill over here. At the right side, we're seeing some of the wood laying that is already cut into pieces. So it became the area of timber, more and more timber, because with these windmills, with using wind power, what happened is that we could saw the wood 10 to 20 times faster than when you do it by hand. And imagine in these times, so that you can do something 10 to 20 times faster. And of course, these ships are needing a lot of wood, really a lot of wood. And we also needed a lot of ships. And it was going very well in the Netherlands. So we needed more and more and more ships. So in about 100 years' time, from the start of the 17th to the end of the 17th century, they were building hundreds of windmills over here. And totally in this area, just above Amsterdam, just a small area where it's always, by the way, there's always wind. Um, they were building 1,100 windmills in total. And the majority were wood mills or timber mill, or to cut the timber to use wood for ships. And of course, when you have so much wood, they were also thinking like, okay, we can maybe also use it for other things. So what you also see over here in this area are lots and lots and lots of wooden houses. And look how beautiful the sun is. And good question, Susan, where did they source the wood? At first, the wood that they got came from the area over here. We're living in a country that's called, or that was originally called, or this part of the country was originally called Holland. And Holland, that means, that's interesting, a lot of people don't know that, but Holland is coming from houtland, and hout is the Dutch word for timber, or timber of wood. So originally, all the woods were over here, just around Zaanse Schans, where we are right now, but also in this area. But already soon after, we needed so much more wood that it was not enough. We literally removed all the woods that we had in the Netherlands. Yeah, that was a different time. And then we started getting them from Scandinavia, so from Norway and Sweden, because in Norway and Sweden there were still a lot more trees. So mainly the wood was coming over there from around 1650, 1660. So when we started to not have enough wood anymore, and what they were doing, they were of course coming with ships, and they were literally having the wood floating in the water behind the ship, so they could get more and more. And then before, it's also good to know, is I was saying about how fast the sawing was going. Yeah, the sawing was going very fast, but still, before you had the wood, it was taking a long time, because before before they were sawing the wood, they were first placing the timber in the water. It was placed in the water for about a year. And a year to make sure, because if you're cutting down a tree, then there's still all kind of chemical processes inside the tree, and they have to stop. And by placing the wood in the water, then that is stopping faster. So it will take about a year. So they were getting it into the water for about a year, and then after a year, they were sawing it, still wet. So the timber was wet when they were sawing it. Why wet? Because also it is better, it is easier, because the wood is softer, or the timber is softer than when you dry it. And also, yeah, it's softer and easier to cut, or easier to saw. So that was the first thing. Um, 1 year in the water, then sowing, and after that it needed to dry. And the drying, that was still taking about 4 to 6 months. It was depending a little on the size of the timber and the size of the wood. So the more, and look how beautiful this is in the meantime. It's really beautiful with the reflection in the water. Wow. Catherine, thank you for placing some things in my shoes where they were warming up. So I don't know what magic this is, but I had cold feet, and now they're slowly warming up. And of course, traveler, the wood was heavier because of all the water that is inside. Um, but the main thing, that it was easier to saw it. And what I can do is I have to go two windmills further from here, and from there I can show you a little more how they were getting the wood out of the water into the windmill. So, but imagine 17th, 18th century, that there were not, like nowadays we have 9 windmills over here, but in that time there were hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. So what we see now in this little village of Zaanse Schans is that they literally, from the area, they replaced several windmills. Most of them are still original ones from the 17th century, but not all are exactly from this area. And what they also did is they're showing the different types of windmills. So some are a little older, some are a little younger, but there are two ones that are sawing wood. There's one that is used to grind all kind of stuff to make paint. There's an oil mill. So there are several types, also to show that we were not only sawing wood, but that was the main thing. So about 80% of all the windmills in this area were for the wood, and then 20% was for all kind of other things. So, and it is, yeah, it made us so much, building so much faster our ships. So not only, but yeah, the main thing was the sawing, were the sawmills. Um, but just to give you an idea, in these times, if you have these big ships from the 17th and 18th century, these galleons, if they were made in Spain, for example, or in England, then it was taking them 2 to 3 months. And in the Netherlands, or Holland at that time, we were making the same ships, but not in 2 to 3 months, but in 2 to 3 weeks. So you can imagine how many of these ships we were building, and it made us also so powerful because if you were losing a ship, yeah, it was quite easy to make a new one. Look how beautiful the one is over here, and when coming nearby, this one is close. We can see this one is anno 1672, so 17th century. We're seeing the sails, uh, and if you're coming nearby, then you can see how uh, then you can see how enormous these machines are. So, I mean, if you're now thinking about an industrial area, you're maybe not thinking about windmills, but yeah, this was the industrial area of the Netherlands. So, and Susan is asking, did it make the area rich or did the profits go elsewhere? Yeah, this area became rich, but of course, it's always going like this. It is just that some people became rich, and a lot of the richness, of course, came in the hands of the Amsterdam traders. So the Amsterdam traders, that were the ones that were really becoming rich. So, and over here, it's maybe good to see. We see the windmill, and I'm zooming in a little. I'm zooming in a little. You can see on the side, it's a little hard to see. Can I get a better position? It is close already now, but maybe when I'm walking a little more nearby. Oh wait, I think I found a way. I'm just gonna stand on the bench over here. Yeah, this is better. On the side of the windmill, as you can see, there is a ramp. There's a ramp over there, and on that ramp, they were getting the timber inside the windmill, and then inside the windmill, that's where, of course, all the sawing took place. So that's where they were sawing, and you can see over here uh, the windmill with 4 sails. They also placed extra sails on what we call the wings of the windmill, and that is to get more power. And with this wind, it is today about bow 4 to 5, and still they're using the extra sails to have more power in the windmill. So it was amazing, and this area stayed 17th, 18th, start of the 19th century, but then in the 19th century, of course, we had another industrial revolution that was not starting in the Netherlands, it was starting in England with all the steam machines coming up. That was, of course, already a little at the end of the 18th century, but in the 19th century, that became more and more the norm. And from that time on, machines became faster than our windmills. So in the 19th century, the second part of the 19th century, a lot of the windmills were removed, and in the 20th century, we basically did not use them anymore. So nowadays, we just have some left. So all over the Netherlands, we have about 900 windmills left, while one day on the top in the 17th century, we had about 1,000 windmills, 1,000 in total. So imagine that. And nowadays, this is just uh, this is just some of the cultural heritage we have. Of course, they are still in use. And if you're coming over here, then you can visit several of the windmills, see how the procedures are going. So, for example, also one of the windmills over here is grinding the cacao to make chocolate, because also the chocolate industry is really big in this area, and that is still nowadays. It is now hundreds of years later, And still the Zaanstreek, that's how we're calling it, of the Zaan area, is still one of the industrial parts of the Netherlands. So you can see if we're looking into that direction, you can see that there are more modern factories, and several of them are to make chocolate. So still chocolate. Also the one over there you can see at the left we have a windmill. At the right side, or in the middle right side of the screen, over there you can see that that is one of the chocolate factories that is still in this area over here. So now not with an eastern wind, but with sometimes if the wind is in the right direction, then this whole area over here is smelling like chocolate. So that is sometimes I'm coming here. I'm also sometimes coming here with guests for in-person tours, and then uh, then everyone thinks like, "Oh, I want chocolate! I want chocolate! I want chocolate!" You can maybe imagine why that is, but not today. Not with this Siberian wind that we have today. By the way, when we were starting the tour, that was over here. I was just ice skating at the start. If you missed that, then of course feel free to rewatch it later. I did about 10 minutes of ice skating to start the tour. Uh, and several of you are saying, like Carla, for example, that the windmills are a lot more beautiful, and of course they're also not giving any pollution. That is true. That is completely true. That they're not so much pollution. And that's of course the interesting thing is that when you're nowadays talking about windmills in the Netherlands, we always have to ask them, okay, talking about windmills, are you talking about the original one or the new ones? Because of course we nowadays have a lot of new windmills to get to make electricity for us. So um, for the Dutch, that's something that we have been doing already for generations and generations, using that wind power. Um, look how beautiful it is over here. In the meantime, because it is so cold, I see that also my battery is running out a little faster. So there is a possibility that there is a possibility that between now, where I just have to get maybe a cable to have some um, to have some extra electricity. So, God, look how beautiful it is. You see over here old industrial windmills and also the new industries. And Susan is saying the new ones are not pretty. Nah, I don't know. If you see like a park of windmills, of the modern ones, it can sometimes also be still quite beautiful. Um, yeah, so the one over here, the green one again, this is the one that is um, sawing wood again, a little older version, by the way. And how I'm seeing it's an older version, because with the older versions, like the green one over here, this one, if you no, that's the wrong one. Yeah, other USB A. Sorry, I'm just asking Catherine, do you have a cable for me? Yeah, that's the good one, the green one. Thank you. Yeah, yeah, this is a good one. So I'm just gonna connect. Okay, wait one moment. I'm gonna flip the camera. I just have to connect this. Oh, it is a little cold today. That's why I'm not really the biggest fan of wearing hats, but today it is really, oh, wait, sorry, we're just getting a little, yeah, there we are again. So, okay, hello. Hello everyone. Yeah, you can see also my face is getting red a little from the cold. That's not from the sun, that's from the cold over here. And yeah, of course, Oscar is also over here. Okay, yeah. Oscar is more prepared than I am. Look at this. Look at his clothes today. It's amazing what he's wearing. He's really having a. You're warm, Oscar. Yeah, he's really warm in his thick coat. He has his shoes on and everything. So that's amazing. Only his jacket, not his rain jacket. So normally in this time of the year, he's also wearing his rain jacket, but left it home. So Oscar, do you like it? Oh, he lost it. He lost it. So he also wants to wave at all of you. Hello, everyone, and wave back to all your bears and even your new bears. Speak. Okay, so I'm just gonna go a little further. We're now walking back because Zaanse Schans is not only windmills. What they did is they also made a little village, a little based on how this area used to look in the 17th and 18th century. And um, it is a sort of an open air museum right now. So, and I'm saying open air museum. That's little interesting because at the same time there's still people living over here. So in most of the houses there are just people living, taking care of these houses. The same with some of the windmills. Um, and look, some wildlife over here. Wow, this is cool. Look at all the ducks, next to the green windmill. So Um, no, but it is an open air museum in the 1950s. So after World War II, the city of Zaanse Schans they decided like, okay, hello, um, that they wanted to show a little more of the old heritage of this area, the old houses. But the thing is that a lot of the official wooden houses and also the windmills were not there anymore. So what they did, partly of the a part were places that were already over here in combination with some houses from the area. They all collected it, moved it to here. So they are from the area, but not all of them are from exactly over here, and rebuilt a village like we had lots of them in the 17th century. So ducks, yeah, ducks everywhere. I missed that tour with Leonie, but I saw some over here. Look, there's a tinier but beautiful windmill here on top. So you can also see we have them in all sizes, not only the big ones, also smaller ones. Because if you want to use the power of the wind, then it can be for different, for of all kind of things. So as far as I know, the one over here is used for grinding cacao still. Okay, let's just go a little further. Look over here. This is how the villages in the 17th and 18th century in the Netherlands were looking like. So, um, one of the things is what you maybe see is that here at the left side, it is a little lower than at the right side. I don't know if you can see it well enough, but if I'm going to the other side, you see the water level is higher. So the water level of the Zaan River at her right is higher than the water level here at the left side. So that also means that I'm now walking here on the dike. I'm walking on the dike that is protecting these houses. So these are the so-called lowlands that we have in a lot of parts of the west, mainly in the western part of the Netherlands. So all these people are living in houses that if we remove the dikes, then they would be underwater. So just to give you an idea, this area over here is about 2 meters, so about 6 feet under sea level nowadays. So that's always the interesting thing in the Netherlands. We're living under sea level, but look how beautiful this is. So all these houses, still like the ones how it was over here in this industrial area. And just keep on saying it. It was an industrial area, but of course very beautiful. And in all these houses, there were, of course, the owners were living of some of the factories or some of the windmills. Some of them were traders. Also, one of the things is that they were catching all the whales. So with the ships that were built with the wood over here, they were catching whales, and they were also brought over here to use, for example, the oil that's coming out of the whales. So, and look how cute these houses were. They're all, or the majority of them is all made from wood because there was so much timber over here. They decided, okay, also let's use it for the houses. And what you can maybe also see is that the majority of the houses are painted in green. Not all of them, but the majority is green, a little dark green. That's called Zaanse Schans. So Zaan after the area over here. And they are green. At first, they were painting them in all kind of colors, but they found out that the color green, the green paint, is in the end the best if you want a more durable house, if you want uh, a sustainable house. So it is longer good because of several chemicals that are in here. So that's why most of them are painted green. And of course, nowadays we still use the green. But not all the houses were made from wood, as you can see. Some of them were from stone. So over here we have a beautiful one. Also, just gonna show you a little more nearby. Uh, we have over here Koopmans Huis de Mol from 1795, so 18th century. So Koopman, that means a trader. So someone was trading stuff, and his surname was de Mol. So you can maybe see in the middle part that black figure over there next to the little angels. That is a mole because it means the same in Dutch. And yeah, this was a rich man over here. He was a rich man. And not only he was rich, also his neighbor, you can see Van Oud Noorderhuis. So also a beautiful, really beautiful door, partly made from wood, partly from stone. So that was a combination. And by the way, yeah, several of you are already asking questions, but feel free to ask questions because there is so much to tell and to show in only this area. And then the next building over here behind some beautiful pollard trees. So also something that you see more often in this area. It is nowadays a restaurant and it's still connected to what this building was used for before. And you can maybe see that if we're going here to the side, we see a restaurant. Um, the hoping for the black walvis, the zwarte walvis, the black whale. So they were always hoping for black whales. So because a lot of the people over here were working in industries that were using everything that came out of whales. So okay, just let's go on. It's so beautiful to be here. And thank you all for joining me, by the way. It's always nice to be here, and you can maybe imagine it is now January, it's cold. I'm almost the only one over here, but in high season, if the tulips are coming back somewhere the end of March, start of April and May, then it is full of people over here. So if I would come back in May, then it would be besides thousands of people that are visiting this little village, because of course they like to see the old Netherlands, the old Holland feeling. They want to see the windmills, the beautiful greenhouses, and yeah, this area over here is just next to Amsterdam. And then the greenhouse over here, this is also a quite special one, because if you're coming to the Netherlands, then you still have in a lot of places a grocery that's called Albert Heijn. And Albert Heijn, you can see the name over here. It's a famous Dutch grocery and they are from this area. So the first supermarkets, they say that the supermarket itself, the concept of the supermarket is invented by Albert Heijn. He did that in the 19th century. So, and over here you can visit the first one. You can visit the first one where you can see all kinds of old stuff like things to wash from several areas. I see things from the 60s, 70s, but also older parts. So you can normally go inside over here to see one of the first supermarkets. And of course, nowadays supermarkets are huge, but he was the first person, at least in the Netherlands, that was thinking, okay, why do we have all these specialized shops, maybe just combine them and place all the stuff together just in one shop. And that's how the first supermarkets opened. And nowadays, by the way, Albert Heijn is quite a big multinational that has supermarkets all over the world. One of the biggest companies worldwide. And then over here, look at this. This is also a beautiful. Look at the facade, really nicely done. Nowadays, this is a little museum. So there are several museums. The clock museum, and next to the clock museum, and yeah, this is special for mainly all the British women that are now on this tour. I assume there are several ones. And why am I saying this? Because here at the end of this little piece, now we first see a beautiful globe, but it's not what I'm talking about. Behind it, we have this little Baroque style building. And why I'm saying the English ladies, because this was a tea house. This was a tea house as used in the 17th and 18th centuries. You can see the Baroque, the Louis XIV style a little. So imagine that women in that time, it was for women still not normal to work. And yeah, in this area over here, there were a lot of rich traders, rich people that became rich because of all the industrial things in this area. So, and yeah, as a woman, what could you do? Taking care of the kids. Sorry, it was very traditional still. But one of the other things, if you had some free times, what were they doing? They were sometimes taking their friends to have tea in little houses like this. So, and they were building that at the end of their estate. So imagine um, a beautiful garden, and at the end of the garden, you had your little tea house where you could walk through. And then over here of the garden, and then somewhere, let's say 50 meters further, they had their main building. So that's but it was a beautiful way. So this is one of the ones that came from this area over here, but there were several ones, and you can still find in some parts of the Netherlands these old tea houses. And yeah, they are beautiful. Of course, they are beautiful. But everything is beautiful over here, isn't it? Just gonna give you some last shots, because when I was showing you the supermarket, we missed this part. Over here, there is another little row of houses, really typical again from that time. And I said it already before, but all these houses, they're still they're still living people over there. So it's not just a museum. No, the majority of the places are in use. People are living over there. Uh, are gardening. Have to make sure, of course, that their garden is beautiful for the time of the year that a lot of tourists are coming over here. But yeah, so this is sort of a living museum that we have over here. And then um, to end this tour, I'm not completely ready yet. What I wanna show, because there are more windmills. There's a windmill over here. There's a windmill over there. So, and oh wait, just also showing you a little the map of this area. So the Zaan, you see in the middle part, in the middle part, in the middle part there is the Zaan River, and on both sides, at the left side, you see a lot of greenhouses, and at the right side, this is what we call Zaanse Schans, but again, several windmills, but also several of the old houses. And Steelman, I'm just gonna get you some more pictures, and it's also good. Um, I have a Facebook group, and there are always people that are taking screenshots of my tours and placing that in the Facebook group. So maybe you can find it all. It's called All Aboard Stefan Spijk, and I think now it will be added by Catherine, who's behind me. Is amazing what she's doing this. Thank you for that. But if you're not on my Facebook group yet, then feel free to join. And there you can find, of course, always introductions for other tours. but also a lot of people that are joining these tours are their placing their all their screenshots and postcards over there. And look how beautiful the tea house is now from above here. I'm now walking on the bridge, and over here, wow, the sun, you see the color of the light is changing every time. So just to give you an idea, the other side, it is really beautiful yellow, almost purple. And here again, you can still see the more newer industrial parts. So we have the windmill left, and then at the back you see these bigger factories that are still over here in this area. But at the other side, we have the Zaan River again, and then you can see the greenhouses that are also at the other side. It's maybe a little harder to see now in the dark. And then here at the end, with the beautiful over the water, we can see several windmills. Two of them are still now in use, or still using the wind power. So, but I think it's almost about 5 o'clock, and most of the windmills, most of them are closing around this time. So this is the last shot of that I wanna give you of Zaanse Schans. And yes, Mel, you're right. You're right. With that help, without that help, then I would not be as good on most of my tours. So, thank you, Catherine, again. Also for the still warm shoes that I have. Um, so I'm just gonna show you my face with the beautiful sky on the back. So I hope you really enjoyed it today at this little last minute tour with a beautiful sunset, with some ice skating at the start. If you missed it, watch it back. I am there tomorrow again. Tomorrow with a tour that is planned a little longer. That will be of the Amsterdam Light Festival. This time not by boat, but I can take my bicycle, my blue bicycle with some lights around, my Delft's blue bicycle to be precise, and I'm gonna take you around several of the light artworks, and of course also see Amsterdam by night. And that's already magical with all the lights, and it will be cold again. It will be as cold as today, or maybe a little less cold, but almost as cold. So I have to prepare myself for that. Thank you for joining, and of course, thank you for joining today. If you like this tour, you can support me by buying me a coffee, or yeah, today that's more like buy me a hot chocolate. Um, or PayPal. There are several ways to leave a tip, and I'm very grateful because that's the way how I can keep on doing these tours. So thank you, Leslie, Joanne, Michelle. Let's see, thank you, Susan, Steelman, Traveler, Satyam, and a lot more. Corinne, of course, Trisha. So thank you all. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm just gonna get, I think, a warm chocolate now for myself, and also one for Catherine because she deserved it. She was walking around with my ice skates, with a lot of other things. Wait. Just gonna show you. Yeah, you were not in the screen, but here she has two bags, my bag. So I'll asking her, can you, and of course Oscar, my ice skates and everything. So it's thank you for that. Let's go for. We are going for a hot chocolate or something like that. So thank you. So maybe Catherine, you can also wave with Oscar again. Thank you again, and I hope to see you tomorrow at the Amsterdam Light Festival. Bye bye.